Arr. Sorry.
Bro, are you serious?
What? One more. Look, my throat was dry. Just give me one more time. One more try. Okay.
Fine.
I'm very sorry.
Just go again, and you know what? Just do your regular voice. You don't have to do a pirate voice. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Take it off the top.
Okay, thank you. Everything evolves with time. Technology, societies, even the legends we once feared. Once, pirates roamed the seas. Wild men chasing gold, chaos, and glory. But the world changed. The oceans got mapped. The monsters turned into myths. And what becomes of a pirate when the sea is replaced by cement? No, that sounded better in my head, actually. He adapts. He evolves. He trades his wooden ship for quiet luxury, and his compass for a navigation screen. Because we're no longer pirates looking for booty. We're corsairs looking for ass.
I've had enough. Just cut to the review. Enough of your not. Who hired this guy?
All right, and we're back with another car review. Today we're reviewing the 2025 Lincoln Corsair Plug-In Hybrid, and it's a nice little car. It's a bit mid, I'm not gonna lie. There are some things I don't like about it, and there are some things I like about it, and we're gonna get into it. Again, this video is broken up into 3 parts: the exterior, the interior, and then the powertrain and the driving, of course. That all goes together. And then today on this one, we're gonna include a nice little thing at the end of why you should own this car, or why you would buy this car, or why you wouldn't buy this car. So we're gonna include that at the end as well. And of course, we're gonna rate the car. And before I get started, shout out again, one last time, for now, who knows, we'll see, to Raphaël Poulain from Circuit Ford Lincoln in Montreal North. Some would argue the only good thing to come out of Montreal North is that dealership. So go check it out. They got a nice dealership. Raphael, again, shout out to him. It was a fantastic help, this guy. I had some brake issues, and I gotta say, even though the man had done the sale, he was still there to help us out. Fantastic service. So you guys need anything, go, you talk to Raphaël Poulain. If you talk to anyone else, it's not the same. It's not the same. I'm sorry. And I'm not bashing the other guys. Probably great guys. I don't know. I didn't meet them. I didn't talk to them. But I don't know. The shining star in that place, Raphaël Poulain. All right. Now I'm going to stop talking about him because it's going to look weird. So this is the front of the car. We're going to start at the front. And like I have to say, it looks nice. Look, I'm not a big fan of white cars, but it looks nice even in white. I would have preferred some other colors, like in black it looks nice, and especially with the jet appearance package. This one doesn't have the jet appearance package, but with the jet appearance package it's beautiful. But still, not an ugly front end, not ugly. It just, on this particular trim, a bit basic looking in my opinion. I do like how they put the turn signals in its own little housing unit over here. The headlights are nice. They kind of look like wings actually, and if we just, there you go, yeah, you see? You got this nice little thing going on the side of the headlights as well, which is pretty cool. You know, they put some thought into it. And the Lincoln badge on this one is blue because this is a plug-in hybrid. Moving on to the side, I have to say the nicest angle of this car is the side profile and the rear end. The only thing I don't like about this car on the exterior is it feels really short for an SUV. Sometimes I'm on the highway and there's a Nissan Kicks and they're higher than me. I would say it feels more like a wagon because it's still pretty long. It's 15 feet long, 15.1 to be exact. So I would say it's more of a wagon than an SUV, you know? Maybe, I don't know, maybe we start a new trend called the wagon utility vehicles, the WUV, because you're gonna WUV it. It's on 19s, this one. I like how it says Corsair on the side. I like the folding mirrors, and you've got the turn signal housing on the mirrors as well. I like how it kind of swoops downwards towards the back, and you got kind of like this little wing action going on over here. So it's pretty neat, pretty cool. I like that. I like the styling so far on the side. Nothing too crazy, but nothing too bland either. The most beautiful part of this car is the rear end. If you go in the back here, it's got a nice fat rear end. This is the most beautiful part. And on the road, it looks nice and planted and thick. And it even feels planted. And what I like about what they did with the trunk of this car is that the trunk actually cuts into the fender. So when the trunk opens, it actually opens this entire panel here. And what's nice is if you're bringing stuff in from the side here, you got a little more extra space. You're not really risking scratching the paint of the car. So that's nice. I like that the entire trunk kind of wraps around the body the way that it does. This one it came with a package where you kick like this. You kick, you kick, you kick, you kick, there you go. And the trunk opens when it wants to work. I would say, well, one thing that bothers me about this car is because of the sloping roofline, it sacrifices on trunk space a lot. Because here's the thing, between the Nautilus and this, they only have about a foot difference in length. But that foot in difference feels like insane in this car. You feel like you lose a lot more space than what you actually did. We're gonna move on to the back seats. My keyless entry wasn't working the other day, now it's working. I don't know what to say. What we're gonna do is we're gonna move the seat up front because, again, it's this car, even though it's 15 feet long, which is pretty long, and for a car that's front wheel drive, it really doesn't have that much space inside. So when you get in, so the seat is moved all the way up. It's moved all the way up, and it's pretty close. I don't have much space, I'm gonna be honest. Compared to the Nautilus, I had way more space for my legs. And this is moved all the way up. I don't even want to imagine what it's going to be if the seat was moved all the way back. Ooh. Right here, this is what it looks like. The interior, the dash. I like the two-tone steering wheel. Actually, before I show you guys the interior, we're going to show you the under the hood because this is a plug-in hybrid and we're going to get into specifics. All right, this is a plug-in hybrid. You got all the wiring over here. It's a transverse engine, so it's a front-wheel drive base. But I have to say, even though it's a front-wheel drive base, the all-wheel drive grips pretty nicely. Like I've tested it in pretty bad conditions when it was snowing and everything. It gripped pretty well. This particular trim is a plug-in hybrid. So if you do everyday driving in the city, go for the plug-in hybrid because it says online you get 47 kilometers range just on electric. But I've gotten up until 55 in the summer. I will say though, in winter it drops down to 30. So keep that in mind. But if you're doing mainly city driving, I would say go for this. Go for the plug-in hybrid because you're going to save a lot of money on gas. Like on a full tank, we get about 1,000 kilometers of range when you do a lot of city driving. Nice little engine, about 261 horsepower. If you don't do a lot of city driving, you mainly do highway because once you do highway, that electric is good for the first 50 kilometers, but then you go back to regular gas. And I would say from what I've seen online, the difference isn't that much. They both have similar performance metrics. Like it's on the non-hybrid, it's a 2-liter turbo engine with 250 horsepower, pretty industry standard at this point. So with about, I think, what was it, almost 300 pound-feet of torque, which it's a torquey engine, which is really nice. So it's just as quick as the plug-in hybrid, because the plug-in hybrid, you have the torque instantly, which the plug-in hybrid has 261 horsepower, and I forgot the torque, but roughly same performance metrics. But again, you don't buy this car for performance. What is nice though is you get a classic 8-speed on the turbo, and you get a CVT on this one. I don't know if I said you also get an 8-speed on this. I was wrong. You get a eCVT, they call it, on the plug-in hybrid. And that's it to the interior. So now for the interior of the car. I have to say, it's a nice interior. But that's about it. Space-wise, again, there's only about a foot of difference between this and the Nautilus, and yet the Nautilus feels like it's 10 times bigger. How that happens, I don't understand. Explain it to me. Someone who's a mechanical engineer or whatever in the comments, you can tell me how that worked. So we got the beige interior. They did a good job on the interior. In terms of the way it looks, right? You got the two-tone steering wheel, which is very Bentley-esque, which is nice. You've got the door panel on the side over here, which you got Mercedes-style seat adjusters. We say Mercedes-style because I think it was Mercedes the first ones to do it, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong. You got some nice chrome trim over here to make it feel a little more, you know, luxurious or premium. You got nice chrome trim even on the switches for the windows, which is nice. Leather, soft touch materials on the door panel where your arm is, even up here. Even here actually, where it becomes hard plastic is below the armrest. The audio controls, I like the audio controls. I like that it's a bit of a knob. It's lit up. You don't really have to check. These don't really change. They just light up. Same thing for this one. This car does have paddle shifters, although useless because it's a CVT. They should have just never added them. I tried using them. I didn't like it. Cruise control. Now this is cool because once you press it, it lights up. With this one, you get the adaptive cruise control, which is right here. And you even get lane assist, which if you turn it on, lane keeping assist on, which you have to keep your hands on. All in all, a very nice steering wheel. What bothers me about the steering wheel, the only thing is this button. Sometimes you do press it as you're turning by mistake when you don't want to, so that's a little annoying. Digital gauge cluster. You can customize it pretty well if you go into, I think if you go settings, yeah, display setup, information screen. So you have quite a few information screens, EV coach. So how much the EV coach on the plug-in hybrid shows how much battery you returned while braking. So again, this is perfect for city driving. Where's the fuel economy is there? Okay. This is what I wanted to show, because if you go on fuel economy, like I said, this car right now it's at 18.7 because I drive like an idiot. But if you go onto fuel economy, the average is 5.1, which for winter is 5.1. But in the summer that we had it, it was like 4 or 3.8 or something, which is nothing. Like I'm telling you guys, I was getting 1,000 kilometers out of a full tank, and it's a small tank, eh? It's got like what, 35, 36 liters of a tank. So pretty cool. Like 1,000 kilometers range is a lot. You know, in the past you needed a diesel, and I'm a guy that loves big V8s. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a classic kind of guy. I love that big V8 growl. But man, the future is hybridization. Hybrid is gonna save everything. It's gonna save the V8s. It's already saving the V8s. Look at BMW with their M5. People, I mean, sure, people don't like it now, but I think they're gonna like it more later on. It is too heavy though, I will say, but it's gonna save the V8s. It's the only way, especially with the government being, you know, annoying about everything. But hybridization, even for a daily driver, it's fantastic. Long-term reliability though, got no clue about that. I don't know. As we all know, a battery on these cars, electric cars, is super expensive, difficult to work on. Will there be new jobs that do just that in the future? Maybe. Will it become cheaper eventually? Of course, just like how full HD TVs were $5,000 when they came out. Now you could find one that's 1080p at $300. Nice, classy dash. I like the leather across the dash and soft touch materials, and then the wood, it kind of goes into the wood panel here. It's like kind of hidden. Piano shifters, not a fan, or whatever, it is what it is. This center floating console is cool, but it was even cooler from 2023 and prior model years. I'll explain to you why. Right now they don't have any buttons. You just have your traction control. If you press here, it's on calm screen, you know, your hazards, your cameras, and your heated windshield, maximum heated windshield, and your volume button. The previous models, not only did you have all your climate controls here, which again, car brands keep doing this, removing buttons when people are asking for more buttons. So that's the first, the annoying thing that they did. Second annoying thing is they removed all the buttons, shortened it, and made it cheaper. On the previous model years, you have it's wrapped in leather on the bottom here. So like that one, if your knee touches, it's soft, right? This one is just hard plastics, and it feels more like an afterthought. Like even it's not even flush. Like, come on, man. Like, what is this? This is like a luxury brand. This is a car that starts at 52,000, and stuff like this for 52 grand on an SUV is, in my opinion, unacceptable to have. Absolutely disgusting. The piano black, some people don't like it. I don't mind it. I don't care about the fingerprints. You know, things get dirty. That's normal. But this, again, the center console, it was nice. What they had done was the floating design. It was a really nice job. But they ruined it. How to take something good and ruin it. Moving down, you got wireless charger in here, which you can't see because it doesn't work, so we don't even use it. That's like every car brand. Nice little thingamajiggy here. This empty space here, I feel like this empty space could have been utilized a bit better, like maybe to put stuff, maybe like put up a little sidewalls here. Maybe you could use it to put like a cell phone or whatever, because now like my cell phone, when it's plugged in, is just in the cup holder because it slides around over there. So maybe, you know, utilize that space a little bit more. Your drive mode selector, which by the way, if we look at the dash here now, you got normal. On this one you got preserve EV, pure EV, then you have excite, then you have conserve, then slippery. That's pretty much all the modes. I usually just drive in normal. Excite is nice, you do feel the difference. All right, now we're gonna go on a drive. All right, I guess no music because Android Auto decided to be annoying. Look, most of the time it works, but when it doesn't, it's annoying. Let's go on a nice little drive here. Which, by the way, in the snow, it surprised me. Like, we got quite a bit of snow here. And it does pretty well. It does pretty well, I'm not gonna lie. I had no difficulty getting out of this now. And look, if we switch here, check this out. If we get out here, I don't know if you guys could see it. There's a bit of a mound. We go forward, as if it was nothing. As if it was nothing. The drive of this car, it's comfortable. Again, my only complaint is that it's not high enough for an SUV. Even though it's a 15-foot long SUV, which is only a foot difference from the Nautilus, and the Nautilus looks humongous compared to that. It's comfortable. The suspension, sometimes if you're going over a lot of bumps, it does make some noise, and I saw that it was a complaint online as well. But for the most part, there's actually not a lot of road noise. Like, I'm actually surprised. So the car starts at 52,000. You can customize it to about, I think it goes up until like 75, 80 max, which, you know, is the fully loaded models and trims. Even starting at 52, it's not bad. Like, you actually, like, I feel like you get less road noise in this than I did in the Nautilus. But the Nautilus, maybe it was the winter tires as well, and it's on 22, so maybe it was a little rough, the ride. This one's sitting on 19s, so, you know, there's going to be a bit more padding. It's going to be a little more comfortable. And we're going to put in an Excite, and I'm going to show you guys it grips like really well. Oh, and what I really like is, because it's a pretty quick car, it takes people by surprise. They usually don't expect a nice little Lincoln Corsair to take off on them, you know, because it's been previously a car for older people. And I think what Lincoln is trying to do with these cars, they're trying to go get the younger clientele, you know, 30s, starting a family, especially the Nautilus. The Nautilus looks cool. The Lincoln Corsair looks nice, especially when you add the jet appearance package and the black accents. Like, I like the black accents and stuff. It looks good. They're good looking SUVs. They did a really good job. And the Corsair, you can actually get them with red leather seats. Since when can you get a Lincoln with red leather? You know, that's usually like a BMW or a Mercedes thing. So pretty cool. If they add red leather to the Nautilus and the Aviator, it would be really cool as well. You know, make it a bit more sporty. You know, still give it that like luxury feel with a bit of sportiness. So there's that. So I am pretty low. Like, before I was next to a CRV, but they're looking down on me. And for an SUV that's just as big or as long, or that has as much space, I kind of find it annoying. So another thing, I don't like about this car is the CVT. Like, and they put paddle shifters, and I'm using the paddle shifters right now. It's on D2, and it'll just end up changing for you if you rev too high. Like, it won't even let you really red line it, you know? Again, this is the plug-in hybrid, but if there was the, maybe on the 8-speed, it's different. Apart from that, it's a nice drive. It takes off nice. It's got enough power for daily drivability. The only thing about this car is performance-wise. It's all pretty standard stuff. You got the 2-liter turbo. On the highway, it's really comfortable. You don't get that much road noise. I would say this competes more with the Audi Q3 or the new GLB or the GLA. You know, it competes more with these car models. So it's a nice little alternative. All right, now we're gonna rate it. The exterior is nice. I would give it a 7 out of 10. Nothing crazy happening, but also like not an ugly car. And the only reason it gets a 7 is because if you get the jet appearance package, it brings it up to a 7. But without the jet appearance package, in my opinion, it would remain at about 6, even 5.5. The styling is like I said, kind of bland in my opinion. But the jet appearance package can bring it up to a 7, so we're gonna bring it to a 7. That's on the exterior. What I don't like about the exterior, this is more of a with American brands thing, not just Lincoln, is the panels kind of don't align right. They're all kind of like uneven a little bit. For a compact SUV at 53 grand, you're expecting the panels to kind of align properly. You know what I mean? Seeing that kind of annoys me. All right, interior. Interior is where this car really shines. I'm still gonna give it a 7 though, because it loses a lot of points that we didn't talk about because it's daytime on the ambient lighting. The ambient lighting feels like an afterthought. It doesn't feel like they put in real effort. The red is not a real red. It's more like an orange glow to it. The ambient lighting, it comes out of the wood panels in the front, which is nice. It looks cool. But apart from that, very like afterthought. Where this car loses points, again, that center console area, I get what they were going for the floating thing. On the previous models, it was really nice because it was leather wrapped. It was also, they also had the climate controls button on, but they removed them and they removed the leather wrapping. So they cheapened out on it even more. So that's kind of annoying. It loses points there. And it also loses points that the fact that it's a foot shorter. It's only a foot shorter than the Nautilus, yet it feels way smaller. On the interior, we got a 7 out of 10. Seats are nice. They're comfortable. You know, I like the controls on the door panel. The two-tone steering wheel is nice. It makes it feel... It makes it feel more upscale. They put in effort on to make it feel like it's more of a luxury vehicle. You know, it's not just plasticky parts. So that's neat. But that center floating console, man, like they really loses a lot of points for me. The driving of it. Even though I said that the interior is where this car really shines, I would say where it actually shines is the driving. It takes you by surprise. It doesn't feel like a compact crossover. It feels like a nice, comfortable luxury SUV. The ride is tight enough for turns, but also feels floaty enough where it's comfortable. It actually takes off. And you know, for somebody doing everyday drivability, I don't care what you say on TikTok or whatever, but 0 to 100 kilometers in 6 seconds is more than enough for city driving. You don't need more performance metrics than that. I've taken off on base model 3 Series and C classes, and people don't expect it. We gotta make some last second adjustments over here right now. All right, shades on because I can't see shit. That's better. So yeah, so the driving is where, and the powertrain is where this car really surprises you. And even though it's a front wheel drive base, in the snow I was able to get it to slide a bit, which is fun. So that's good. And it sticks. It takes off. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like the powertrain really shines on this car. Like, I was at red lights during snowstorms or stop signs, and then I want to take off, and it would take off. There was a bit of slipperiness, and I didn't even put it into slippery mode. I was on excite the entire time. It took off. The thing was able to take off with not much slip, and I had taken off traction control too. And it was doing a really good job on taking off. Where it loses points, on the plug-in hybrid, on the CVT transmission. If this was the non-hybrid model, maybe I'd be scoring the powertrain a little bit higher. But because that eCVT, man, it loses soul, and for me it loses 3 points. So I gotta give it a 7 out of 10. Again, it gets a 7 because it surprises you. Not performance oriented by any means, but it still puts down the power nice. Because of the plug-in hybrid, you kind of feel the torque instantly. So if I put it down, it does take off well enough, and that's good. So 7 out of 10. So all in all, I think the score for this car is a solid 7 out of 10. It's mid. It's just mid enough. It's good. It's not great. It's not great, but it's good. That's what I have to say about this car. It's good. Is it worth the price range? In my opinion, no. Because you get some nice lease offers and some low interest rates, you could get a good monthly price. So compared to the competitors like the Audi Q3 and the Audi Q5, this is like between the Q3 and the Q5. You will get better monthly payments than those brands, especially Audi and BMW and Mercedes. They are a bit more aggressive with the pricing. So that's what it is. Maybe if this car started at 42 with how it is, it would be way more enticing. But at that 52 starting point, this is for CAD, by the way, 52 is pushing it a little bit for the performance and the comfort and all that. Why you would buy this car? The reason why we bought this car, actually personally I'm going to say it since it's ours, is the plug-in hybrid option. There wasn't too many plug-in hybrid options with this range and an all-wheel drive. That was luxury, and that was not very expensive. If you look at plug-in hybrids on other luxury brands, super expensive. Like there was the GLC and the GLB and the GLA, but they were way more expensive than the Corsair. So that's the reason why we chose this. If you went with the other engine, the 2-liter turbo instead of the 2.5 hybrid, the only reason I would say you go for this car is the customization options are a little bit different. You get the two-tone steering wheel, like I said. You get the red leather, like in other car brands as well. But I would say more because you want something different. Maybe because you're tired of Audi, you're tired of BMW, you're tired of Mercedes, and you want to go for something a little bit more different. That's just as classy, just as elegant. I would say even a little more elegant. Like BMW, especially with the new interiors that they're doing, they're kind of bland. This is a nicer interior than those newer BMWs. That's why I would buy this car. Is you get the economies on the gas, you get the nice driving, the comfort, with a luxury badge as well. And Lincoln is just as respected. I don't care what people say. Just as respected as Cadillac and BMW, Mercedes. Maybe not Mercedes, although in recent times, maybe. So yeah, I would say that's the reason I would buy this car. You get something different from the usual luxury brands. It feels like a refreshing competitor. You know what I mean? Sometimes I felt like Audi, BMW, and Mercedes didn't have enough competitors. So it's refreshing to have a nice little competitor like this come into this segment and switch it up a bit, you know? The interior is nice. It's well thought out, except for that center console. Yeah, the gas economies, that's why I would buy it. The gas economies, you don't need that much space. It's a nice little city vehicle, especially for the plug-in hybrid. You get 1,000 kilometers. I've been able to get it to 1,000 kilometers of range. That's about it. Why you wouldn't buy this car? I would say the only reason you wouldn't buy this car is you dislike the piano shifter in the center console here a lot. That would be the main reason. And I would say you're loyal to BMW, Mercedes, or Audi. That's the only reason I would say you wouldn't buy this car. Like I said, I think they did a pretty good job, apart from these little stuff. Like, it looks like they put a lot of thought into the car, and then where it mattered most, they were like, people won't care about this. But it's those little things that make a luxury car feel like a luxury car. Like the center console, like in the 2023 model years, it was leather wrapped. They had all the buttons. I know I keep complaining about this, but all the climate controls, they were buttons. You didn't have to go through a screen every single time. I would say that if they added, you know, if they went just a bit more, if they went just a bit, like that extra step, you know, that meme of the picture of the guy, he's mining and like he gets really close to the diamonds. That's what this car feels like. It feels like they were really close. It feels like they were really close, but ultimately they came just a bit short. But again, a nice alternative, especially like you know, Lexus, you're paying the Toyota tax. BMW, Mercedes, Audi, you're paying the luxury tax on those. And by tax, I don't mean like government tax. I mean like people charge extra. If you're in the market for a compact SUV or a compact crossover, Lincoln is definitely, that's luxury. Lincoln is definitely an option you should be looking at. Definitely. I would take it over almost anything. I would pay the extra couple $100 even. Like if you were deciding between this and the Kicks, like I would pay the extra couple $100 just to go with this. Unless the Kicks, it's like $300 a month. It's super low. Apart from that, it's a nice little option. I like it. It's a nice little car. So there you have it. 7 out of 10, and that's the reasons why I would and wouldn't buy it. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and I also hope you guys enjoyed the little sketch at the beginning. But that's it. Peace.